Chapter 5173. This secret treasure is only a component of the ancient treasure. It has the function of superimposing its own divine power. Once activated, it can make its divine power more than 10 times stronger, and it is also extremely difficult to control. It is not suitable for melee. If it is one-on-one, you don't need to be distracted. Use. That's why God Emperor Mo Long didn't use this secret treasure last time. This is also his confidence that he can kill all the emperors in the De Luo realm one-on-one. Luo Hao panted heavily, clutching his chest. No, I have to hold on. The news has spread, and it will take time for the strong within the clan to arrive. I can't just fall away. He is not reconciled. Carefully plan this mountain range, build this land into his hunting ground, and have a good relationship with those peak powers. He has great hope to hold the first 1,000, get the gift of the gods, and understand the road of the gods. He can't just fall away. For the sake of the family, he can't fall. He is the proudest Dayan immortal of the Guka family, and he can't fall. Guk Luo Hao. He raised his head and exclaimed in anger, I will never lose to you, boom. The originally weak aura rose sharply again, surpassing the strong aura at his peak, breaking through the sky. A magnificent pillar of air rushes straight into the sky. The strength has soared, and he has already touched the threshold of the peak. At this time, he officially entered the door of the peak power. Pieces of lightning spread all over the body, flashing the power of thunder up and down. Although his aura skyrocketed, he didn't rush to do it. He could drag it for a while, and if he did it, he would still be unable to withstand the help of the strong inside the clan. Why, it's starting to burn the Tao of Origins. God Emperor Mo Long sneered. The uniqueness is good. It can transform the burning origin into 3 times the divine power. It can't be said to be the first-class skills. It's also the best of the middle-class skills. God Emperor Mo Long shook his head. If you think you can compete with me this way, then you are too underestimating my strength. The 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal is also divided into high and low levels, and the combat power span is very large, which depends on the strength of the origin Tao. The 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal on the 5-rank avenue of the origin is considered to be an ordinary rank. The Dayan Immortal on the 4th rank origin avenue, generally relying on the highest treasure, can touch the threshold of the top Dayan Immortal by practicing to the extreme. Only the 9th rank of the 3rd stage origin avenue can be considered a top powerhouse, and with the peak supreme treasure, they can be regarded as the top combat power in the 9th rank of consummation. The powerhouses of the 2nd rank origin avenue can generally touch the threshold of the peak after completing their cultivation. Just like Luo Hao, he is an ordinary 2nd rank origin avenue. After completing his practice, he can touch the threshold of the peak, that is, the ultimate treasure is not enough. If there is half of the treasure of the God Emperor Mo Long, he also has the power of the peak of the eternal immortal. The Tao of God Emperor Mo Long is not the top in the 2nd stage avenue, but it is not the bottom. With a lot of treasures, he is the top of the peak powers, second only to Juyu's extreme big fairy. One person can slaughter hundreds of 9 rounds of consummation Dayan Immortal. The exact division is beginner, ordinary, top, peak, extreme, half-step emperor. The half-step emperor, the powerhouse of this level, is almost the ultimate way, or a peerless arrogant who practiced perfection in the unity of 10,000 ways. There are not many in the entire universe, and so far, they don't have a primordial star. In the 5-party world, there are 36 primitive stars in each world, and 180 primitive stars are counted. As long as you are lucky, you will not encounter this monster. If you encounter it with bad luck, you can only run away. The entire primordial star will be the slaughterhouse of the half-step emperor, without a doubt sitting on the first throne. As long as there is no problem with the operation of the Chishan temple, the 2 half-step emperors will never collide with each other. In the final analysis, the Chishan temple is still to screen the strong. They are the Dayan immortals of the ordinary origin avenue, and they will be selected, and they will be able to stand out in the end. Those who are still the ultimate existence, or the great talents with the unity of 10,000 ways. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Luo Hao contemptuously, and said in disgust, "It's just a low-level creature, trying to challenge me, boom." The 2 of them rose to the sky in an instant, and every time they flickered, they made a muffled sound. Divine Emperor Mo Long made every shot in the right place. He didn't hurt his vitals. He only moved his veins. After all, the divine power that the original source could burn was limited. Luo Hao was anxious, but he was not anxious at all. He knew very well why the opponent resisted so much, waiting for the other powerhouses in the big Luo world. These powerhouses in the great Luo realm were also lucky, and the 6 of the 10 emperors came to the Jiajiu primitive star and they could set off each other. In his opinion, this Luo Hao has been guarding this mountain range. 8 achievements are the chief emperor of the Da Luo realm who ordered it to occupy this place. If he is injured, he can come here to hide and cultivate the divine body, taking Luo Hao as a way of retreat. Being able to leave the back to Luo Hao, obviously the other emperors believed him very much. At this time, if they ask for help, those emperors will definitely come. He could also use the trick, first seriously injured Luo Hao, and then leaked the flaws, and waited for the emperors of the Deluo realm to come over, and then one would come and he would kill one. Even if they come together, he can use the secret treasure to kill 1 or 2, and he can retreat all over his body, avenging his revenge and gaining a lot of achievements. Fighting in this mountain range, you don't have to worry about other old guys coming over and attacking. The emperor of the big Luo world will not be stupid enough to expose his rear, and attract other powerful people to deal with him. The strength he showed is not much different from that of the chief of the Deluo world. Coupled with the pretense that the injury has not recovered, they will definitely relax their guard. If there is a chance to kill the chief of the Deluo world, they will make a lot of money this time. The chief of the big Luo world is now ranked 76, with a record of tens of millions. What? Luo Hao held the rotating flying blade in one hand, resisting the heavy fist of God Emperor Mo Long, and a black diamond-shaped crystal column appeared in the other hand. He is not good at close combat. He understands that it is the great way of gold. The divine body is not very powerful. Unlike God Emperor Morlong who has an emperor father, he can spend a lot of treasures and refine his body even if he does not focus on cultivating the flesh. To achieve perfection, with the path of the mountain, not only the power is terrifying, but the defense is also like a sacred mountain, not to mention the speed. Mastering the path of the mountain, there is no escape. The strength of God Emperor Mo Long can be said to have reached the point of perfection. This is the advantage of background. If there is no background, physical perfection requires all the worth of an ordinary emperor. Where can I find resources for a 9th turn perfect Dian Immortal? Treasure. Luo Hao himself has a background. Although he is also very strong, he is only one of the top 10 emperors of the contemporary era. Once he fails to join the Dao within the time limit, or has no strength to join the Dao, he will be assigned to the party and lose resources for training. It is difficult to succeed in harmony in a lifetime. Chapter 5174. So he can only fight, before entering the Temple of Chishan. In addition to the innate treasure bestowed by the Emperor, he also used his life accumulation to exchange for a crystal of destruction of the Emperor. This Emperor-level destroying God crystal was refined by a power that destroys a piece of Emperor achievement. Although it is only a first-order God crystal, it has the power of 30% of the Emperor. Once detonated, it can easily kill a rank 9 consummate Dian Immortal, severely injured the peak power, and even a peak power who does not pay attention to it, is in danger of falling. This is his biggest hole card right now, and once it is taken out, it also proves that he has really come to an end. Mo Long, don't pretend, I know you badly injured the Far Shield a year ago, I am afraid you have not recovered your full strength now. Luo Hao held the destroyer crystal high, and continued, this is an Emperor-level destroyer God Jing, if you don't stop, I will detonate it. Everyone will die together. Even if you can carry it down, your divine body will be on the verge of defeat, and you will not be eligible to compete for the top 10. He had long seen that there was something wrong with God Emperor Morlong, and added intelligence from a year ago to speculate that God Emperor Morlong hadn't recovered 80% of his strength. He happened to retreat here to repair it. Because of Jian Wushuang, he suddenly left the customs. Thinking of this, Luo Hao gritted his teeth. He almost forgot Jian Wushuang. If it weren't for this kid, he wouldn't be so embarrassed this time, and now he is in danger of falling. But now there is no time to care about him. First solve the current troubles. As long as he can survive this time, even if he turns the mountains upside down, he must find Jian Wushuang and bring him down. Even if it is out of the temple of Chishan, he will not let Jian Wushuang go. But when he thought of the legendary Dian immortal Jiuyu Daojun in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, he couldn't help but shudder. There is no one who can become a Daojun. The emperor represents the success of the Dao, and the Daojun represents the power of the origin Dao has reached its limit, which is comparable to the emperor, and it is known as the Daojun. That kind of limit or half-walking monarch is simply not what they can provoke, especially in the absence of emperors. These people are the strongest existence. Although God Emperor Mo Long had a strong background, he didn't dare to provoke a Taoist monarch. No matter how strong his secret treasure was, he could kill him at will under the suppression of absolute strength. For example, the high-level Destroy God Crystal. Emperor-level Destroy God Crystal. God Emperor Mo Long sneered and said with disdain, "It's really stupid, you detonate, even if I die with you, do you dare?" In addition, the novel app I'm using recently, Mimiread app, Android and Apple phones support it. In his opinion, if destroying God Crystal is useful, he directly buys 100 crystals and throws one out when he meets one that is stronger than him. Isn't he invincible? This kind of emperor-level destroying God Crystal, only material damage, possessing the pinnacle of the treasure armor can withstand the destruction of 99 of the destroying God Crystal. The remaining a little bit will be offset by the inner armor, let alone killing the pinnacle of the gods. Even the top-level Dian Immortal with the 9th rank consummation is difficult to kill, and at most he will bully those poor ghosts who can't afford the precious armor. It is ridiculous to scare him with such broken things. You idiot. God Emperor Mo Long humiliated each other heartily. Constantly cannibalize Luo Hao's inner defenses, causing him to completely collapse. Okay, in that case, let's all die together. Luo Hao was also the first time to use Destroy God Crystal. He had only heard of this prohibition level one-time treasure before. He knew that he could not kill the opponent, but he did not expect God Emperor Mo Long was so absent. God Emperor Mo Long's eyes condensed. Cool. A trace of power penetrated and destroyed the inside of the crystal, and then suddenly threw it towards Mo Long. The Hei Yarrow armor on Luo Hao instantly wrapped his whole body, and his figure quickly retreated. This lunatic really dare. God Emperor Mo Long was irritated. In order to prevent Luo Hao from being blown up by his own Destroy Crystal, he had to take a suppressive type of innate treasure and directly suppress Destroy Crystal. In a blue bamboo building. Innate top treasure, Zhenyu Tower, hum. With a muffled sound, the destroying God Crystal detonated in Zhenyu Tower. That's it. Jian Wushuang was stunned. Put down the hand covering his head, put away the only high-level supreme shield on his body, and let out a sigh of relief. This Luo Hao's whole card. Jian Wushuang shook his head, and secretly said in his heart, "Can't delay, Luo Hao's mood has changed. If you don't want to help, it's really up to you to explain." He could see from a distance that God Emperor Mo Long had been playing Luo Hao, although he didn't know how much hatred the two of them had, but depending on the situation, it was estimated that he was going to play Luo Hao to death. After a stature, I just wanted to flash past, but found that someone had arrived first. A man and a woman, dressed in colorful robes, and the dreamy feathers behind them represent the unique illusion of the big dream world. Brother Mo Long, I am the 6th generation Chief Daozi of the Great Dream Realm. Can you give me some face and give this person to me? As soon as the voice fell, God Emperor Mo Long hadn't reacted yet, and Luo Hao, who was stopped to go, let out a laugh. Ha ha. Luo Hao smiled arrogantly, swept away the loss just now, and said with a smile, "I don't lose money with you two idiots with me, I won't be lonely on the road. You despicable villain, you dare to speak wild words at such a level." The big dream girl shouted angrily, and a red long knife appeared in the treasure in her hand. Divine Emperor Mo Long was stunned for a long time before he could think of a reaction. "Are you from the Dream Clan?" The two nodded. "Now, before you irritate me, get out." God Emperor Mo Long's brain quickly searched for information about the powerhouse in the big dream world, and then yelled, "Get out of here now. The Great Dream Realm is just a middle-class world, and the Daozu is strong enough, the top 100 in the universe." His father did have some friendship with Daozu Dameng, but in his opinion, the friendship is nothing but nodding acquaintance. What if there is one? Strictly speaking, the entire eastern region is now two major forces. A Kaishuei Hall, an Aeon Tower. Could it be said that with this, he can only kill the strong of Aeon? It's ridiculous. It was a temporary alliance. When they entered the Temple of Chishan, let alone the Kaishuei alliance, except for the same clan or the same world, who cares if you are an ally? Besides, a Daeon immortal who couldn't reach the top in the 9th round of consummation came to ask for his face. He didn't know what to do for a while. Even the pinnacle powerhouse, no one dares to ask for face at this time, and it is the super powerhouse who is ranked in the top 1000 by this original star, who has a lot of achievements. Such a fat sheep, give it away. Except for those Dao monarchs, even if Daeon immortal, who had reached the limit of rank 9 consummation, came, he would dare to let the other party go. Mo Long, my ancestor, helped your father a lot, how dare you be so rude to us? The big dream girl looked angry, and she didn't understand. Chapter 5175. The senior brother beside her pulled the corner of her clothes and whispered, "Junior sister, things seem to be a bit wrong." God Emperor Mo Long was angry with laughter, and he nodded repeatedly in anger. Okay, very good. Luo Hao, I'll give you a chance. You can explain why I want to give them face. God Emperor Mo Long will have to delay time anyway, waiting for Da Luo Jedaozi to get the bait, and just play with it. I've heard it a long time ago. People in big dreams are like lunatics, and he only saw today why those people had to avoid them. Explanation? Luo Hao was overjoyed, and secretly said that the Emperor Mo Long was absolutely dazzled by these two idiots in front of him, and wanted him to humiliate each other. God Emperor Mo Long nodded and said, "Yes, explain to me, why I want to give them face." For the alliance. Luo Hao cautiously probed. God Emperor Mo Long shook his head and said angrily, "No, think about it again. It won't be for me." Luo Hao laughed at himself. Give you one last chance and explain it to them. Luo Hao fell into deep thought this time, and he really thought about it. This is a good opportunity to delay time, and of course he should take it well. The two of the Dream Clan were a bit untenable. Divine Emperor Mo Long, if it doesn't do anything, I and junior sister will leave first. After the Dameng clan man finished speaking, he took the junior sister and prepared to leave. Sister, let's go. Go! God Emperor Mo Long waved his hand and the heavenly enchantment spilled down, blocking her retreat, and smiled lightly. Don't worry, don't you want face? I'll give it to you. Luo Hao, have you figured it out? God Emperor Mo Long said calmly. I figured it out. Luo Hao nodded, his face turned cold, his eyes looked at the two people of the Dream Clan with murderous intent in his eyes. Remember, it's not that God Emperor Mo Long doesn't give you face, it's you idiots, don't deserve to kill me. Boom. Although the body was seriously injured, it was enough to deal with these two idiots. Mo Long, I didn't expect you to be so despicable. You would just show up if you didn't show your face, and let the villain Luo Hao deal with us. The big dream girl yelled while retreating. Jian Wushuang, who was hiding in the void, couldn't listen anymore. If it weren't for these two fools to interfere with him, he might have brought God Emperor Mo Long and Luo Hao into the big formation. He could see that Luo Hao had the ability to quickly solve the two big dreams, but in order to delay the time, he fought back and forth with the two idiots of the Big Dream Clan. After this drag on, his plan could not be carried out at all. With a flash of figure, he appeared directly on the two Dream Clan, swept the spear in a semicircle in his hand, and directly swept them back tens of thousands of miles. Two idiots. Jian Wushuang turned his head and cursed, then looked at Luo Hao. Brother Luo Hao, I'm late. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Luo Hao couldn't help but tilted his head to look at Jian Wushuang. If it weren't for God Emperor Mo Long, he would have liked to go up and choke Jian Wushuang immediately. After finally finding a reason to delay the time, it was now broken by Jian Wushuang. Here is another one. God Emperor Mo Long was a little skeptical of life. Didn't these weak 9th rank Daeon immortals all fled how far they were when they met this kind of scene? The rank 9 Daeon immortal, who didn't even dare to watch the battle, was now jumping up and down in front of him to find his death. This was the first time he had encountered him in Primordial Star. Why, you are also here to ask for face? God Emperor Mo Long said indifferently, not in a hurry. Jian Wushuang put away his spear, held an illusory long sword in his hand, and said with a serious face, Your Majesty, Brother Luo Hao and I have a life-and-death relationship. I have to come to help. I hope to understand. As soon as his words fell, Luo Hao was stunned. These one by one, do you make fun of him? In a moment, 2 idiots came to ask God Emperor Mo Long to seek face and kill him. After a while, there was another person who wanted to rescue him from the God Emperor Mo Long. This time, he was really confused about the situation. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Jian Wushuang with interest, nodded and said, Jian Wushuang, I know you. The 2 Dameng clan who were overturned in the distance were still a little unwilling to give up. At this time, they also recognized Jian Wushuang, and both had seen them in Kaishui Hall. The Tongtian Buddha Lord is powerful, but they have seen it with their own eyes, so some of the great Yang immortals in the Tongtian Buddha realm, they can remember more or less about it. This Jian Wushuang gave them the feeling that he was an ordinary Dayan immortal in the 9th rank consummation. He was not chased by Luo Hao at first. How could he come to rescue Luo Hao? Under the recommendation, Mima Reading Gap is really good. It is worth installing one for book friends, and Android and Apple mobile phones support it. Not only was the 2 of them puzzled, Luo Hao himself didn't know why Jian Wushuang turned around and came back to save him. It's my honor to remember Your Majesty. Jian Wushuang was very humble. He didn't want to provoke the Morlong God Emperor. If he could not anger the other party, both of them have been brought into the big formation, it couldn't be better. In the outside world, he is at best comparable to the 9th rank consummation. Neither of these 2 are opponents, but if he enters the big formation, he will have confidence. Well, you are very good. Can you match rank 9 when you are in rank 3 Dayan Immortal? Now rank 6 I am afraid that you have the strength of ordinary rank 9 consummation. God Emperor Mo Long clearly remembered that Jian Wushuang, who performed astonishingly on the Cosmos Gods and Demons list, ranked the 3rd rank Dayan Immortal at 160 million, and the 6th rank Dayan Immortal ranked at the top 100 million. Control the existence of the ultimate way. What? He is rank 6 immortal. The Dream Clan man standing in the distance said in surprise, rank 6 can be comparable to rank 9 consummation. How is this possible? There are so many strong people in the universe, and there are only a few Jian Wushuang who pay attention to them. In addition to paying attention to their own rankings, most of the strong people keep in mind those peerless talents that rank in the top 1000 in the universe. Luo Hao stood in the air and turned his head to look at the 2 of the Dream Clan, and said coldly, Idiot, you can't do it doesn't mean that others can't. Then his voice softened, Brother Wushuang should be the absolute master who has mastered the ultimate way. Tianjiao, I don't think Brother Wushuang actually has this hand. Now he can be matched with rank 9 consummation with just rank 6, and I am afraid that he will be a half-step emperor when the realm Dao reaches rank 9 consummation. The Dream Clan girl sneered, half-step emperor, after all, is only half-step emperor. My ancestor is the real emperor. Pay attention to the public account, book friends base camp, pay attention to send cash and coins. Humph. Luo Hao snorted coldly, and cursed, you have a monarch in the great dream realm, right? I don't have a monarch in the great Luo realm. Brother Mo Long's father is not an emperor. There is no emperor in the world of Tongtian Buddhism where Brother Wushuang is located. Have you forgotten the power of Tongtian Buddha? That's not better than your ancestors. Chapter 5176. What Luo Hao said was not wrong. Everyone who was really there was no emperor behind him. Da Meng Dao ancestor is indeed very strong. He can be ranked in the top 100 in the entire universe, in the 5 major regions of the universe, and in the top 20 in the eastern region. Such strength will indeed be respected. However, in the Temple of Chishan, it is personal strength and then the background power. The Great Dream Realm is only relatively famous in the surrounding area, and the power is not the top at all. The Great Dream Dao ancestor is extremely strong, but there are not many emperors under his command. Especially the few 6th-generation disciples of the Great Dream in front of them, who are weak and pitiful, and the 3rd rank Yuan Dao, 1 turns 9 and 1 turns 9 to complete Dayan Immortal. With this strength, are they coming to ask for face? He speaks crazy words and looks down upon Bamboo Emperor. It's almost a matter of life and death. The trial has just begun. This primordial star's big dream world powerhouse was almost wiped out. Now he hasn't learned to keep a low profile and still use the outside world to speak of things. Here, no one cares how strong your ancestors are. Only if you are strong enough will you be respected. There is no such thing as a fart without strength. As the only son of the emperor, God Emperor Mo Long was not the same as being seriously injured by someone. He flees a little bit slower, and he will fall, and he has not seen him move out of his father to scare others. As a strong person, you should have self-knowledge. If you move out of the forces behind you, you will only look down on people and then humiliate you to death. No one in the Temple of Chishan will call how strong your ancestor is. Even if you are the son of a fifth-order emperor, you will be killed. You. The big dream girl was choked and speechless. In her heart, Da Meng Dao ancestor and Da Meng realm have always been the core of the universe. How come I met these arrogant people when I first came out of Da Meng realm? The man from the Dream Clan lowered his head and was silent. He had already accepted his fate. In the Temple of Chishan, he was completely different from his home world, and no one would take that one anymore. Humph, get out of here. Jian Wushuang couldn't help yelling. These two people are a waste of time. Isn't it okay to live well? If he had to die, how could this Emperor Mo Long have such a good temper? Don't give him, her, a second time. Junior sister, let's go first. The Dameng clan man really couldn't stand it anymore. He started to be a little scared. There was not a good one among the few people present. Jian Wushuang can abuse the two of them at will at rank 6. If he doesn't leave, I'm afraid that Joju primitive star, there will be no more powerful dream clan. The big dream girl, her face flushed with anger, didn't care about it at this time. She yelled, "Brother Yang, how have you changed? We are disciples of the big dream. You disappointed me too much." The dream clan man glared at her, and then said in a low voice, "Junior sister." As he spoke, he pulled the arm of the dream clan girl, and pulled back. "What are you doing?" The big dream girl broke free of her senior brother's hand and shouted, "You don't want to avenge the senior sister and the others." Snapped. A crisp slap in the face sounded, and the dream clan man's face was dark, and without waiting for the girl's response, another slap in the face hit his left cheek. The big dream girl stood in the air, staring blankly at the unfamiliar brother in front of her, her little red face, and two clearly visible slap prints. Her eyes were red and she almost started to cry, but now she was scared when she saw the black-faced brother, and she was so scared that she didn't dare to cry. "Everyone, it's abrupt, let's go now." Yanli, a man from the Dream Clan, rapped the silly junior sister, ready to leave. Luo Hao, who was watching the play, changed his attention at this time. These two idiots are leaving now, and the remaining three of them will inevitably have a fierce battle. It's better to leave them behind and delay for a while. After taking care of them, Luo Hao spoke immediately. "Come as you want, leave as you want, do you look down on us?" Luo Hao glared at the two, and a sharp blade flew out behind him, blocking the way. God Emperor Mo Long watched a good show on the side. Since Luo Hao wanted to play, he dared to drag it off. As for Jian Wushuang, while his strength was still weak, he was killed all at once. That is, he only had the strength of rank 9 consummation, which could be destroyed easily, and could not threaten him at all. Both of them are waiting, one is waiting for reinforcements, the other is fishing. Jian Wushuang didn't have any reinforcements, and he had to use his own bait for fishing. He couldn't keep going, but he didn't worry about what these two meant. He could only wait without the slightest solution. "Please help me, Mimi Reading app, can steal book tickets like stealing food. Come steal the book tickets of your friends and vote for me." The more anxious he is, the more flaws will be leaked, but it will be difficult for Luo Hao and the other to doubt it. "I don't know how to let us go." The Dameng clan man changed his normal at this time, no more arrogance in his chest. Luo Hao first glanced at the God Emperor Mo Long, and when he found that he was not in a hurry, he continued, "It's okay to let you go, but it would be too much for him to kneel down and call His Majesty even after seeing someone like Brother Mo Long up. You know what I mean." The Dream Clan man nodded. "Understood, cool." His figure dropped rapidly, landed on a fairly flat stone surface, and knelt down with his knees bent. Big Dream Clan, Little Monk, Yang Yuan pays homage to His Majesty the Emperor. Monk of the Dream Clan, Yang Yuan buried his head between his knees, his body trembling, not because of fear, but because of the great shame at this time, which gave him a strong heart. He wants to become stronger, become extremely powerful, so that everyone dare not look down on him. At this time, he was completely aware of the teachings of the ancestors, but unfortunately he did not wake up at that time. That's the truth. Luo Hao smiled lightly. Now you can roll. Thank you. Yang Yuan slowly got up and took the junior sister directly through the clouds, and soon disappeared. This humiliation will change Yang Yuan's life, but when he is strong enough, he will never find Luo Hao again. With Mo Long God Emperor. Jian Wushuang took a breath, and it was finally over. Now it's time for him to perform. Brother Luo Hao, we should leave too. Jian Wushuang looked at Luo Hao with great interest, and a smile appeared. The three of them were surrounded by triangles, each of which stretched thousands of miles apart. This distance is not too far. If you do it, you can see it in an instant. Pay attention to the public account, book friends base camp, pay attention to send cash and coins, yes. Luo Hao smiled and rushed towards Jian Wushuang in an instant. Boy, do you really think that Brother Morlong and I are both fools? Just when Jian Wushuang arrived, he noticed something was wrong, and a rank 6 Dayan immortal suddenly came out to rescue him, or rescued him from the hands of God Emperor Morlong. This is simply stupid than the two members of the Dream Clan. But Jian Wushuang was not a fool at all, and he definitely had his own purpose in doing this at this time. How could he and Mo Long be the peak-level Dayan immortal? How could it be possible for a rank 6 Dayan immortal to take advantage of the loopholes? Die to me. The flying blade struck instantly. Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and fled towards the canyon. Chapter 51-77. Sure enough, none of the strong people at Dayan Immortal Peak were fools, and when things were revealed, he could only escape first. Fortunately, in terms of speed, he always had confidence, otherwise he would not dare to take such a big risk. Divine Emperor Morlong, Luo Hao is clearly delaying time. It's better to join hands to kill him first. Jian Wushuang was still a little unwilling to persuade the Divine Emperor Morlong, who was about to come behind him loudly. Jian Wushuang, if you are really an ordinary rank 9, I am too lazy to move you. If you want to blame, you shouldn't master the ultimate way. Your threat is much stronger than Luo Hao. Divine Emperor Mo Long was extremely fast, and he surpassed Luo Hao in an instant, and came straight to Jian Wushuang. An immortal who masters the ultimate way, as long as he doesn't die and has great power training, can reach the half-step emperor level. Now that the Chishan Temple is vigorously cultivated, Jian Wushuang only needs to enter the first 1,000, get the treasures given, and understand the Chishan Dao, and his strength will rise all the way, and soon he will become the ninth rank Dayan immortal. The ninth rank consummation is just an opportunity. Not much of a bottleneck. Of course, this kind of half-step emperor's seedlings must be resolved as soon as possible. One less is equal to one less opponent. Although his Dao is considered to be a top-notch Dao, there is still a big gap with the ultimate Dao. This primordial star is confident to be in the top 100, but in the entire universe, he is not ranked at all. There are many treasures, and the combat power is relatively strong. The true potential is not high. Divine Emperor Mo Long was still very excited to be able to kill a future half-step emperor smoothly. In some worlds, there isn't even a single ultimate way, and the entire universe is only a handful of people, and there are not many who can reach the 9th round of consummation. Die to me, boom! The golden boxing shadow turns into a wandering dragon, rushing towards Jian Wushuang. It's almost. Jian Wushuang desperately shielded toward the canyon. The speed of the dragon swimming behind him was much faster than that of the Emperor Mo Long himself, but Jian Wushuang caught up with the fleeing Jian Wushuang with just a breath. Heart Sword World! Jian Wushuang roared, stop it for me. The world of swords immediately descended, slowing down the speed of the wandering dragon chasing behind, and then began to disintegrate the origin avenue within the wandering dragon. His ultimate swordsmanship has reached the 6th level, and it is still possible to suppress an 8th level origin avenue. Bang! The dragon's speed slowed down, and the origin avenue contained in the body began to collapse. After all, it was just a faculty performed by the Emperor Morlong. Although the mighty power was strong, the origin avenue contained within it was just a part of the separated origin. I want to advertise, MIC reading gap, it's really good, it's worth installing, even Android and Apple phones support it. What? God Emperor Molong's figure quickly surpassed the defeated Yulong, and he was surprised that the power of the ultimate way could suppress his origin avenue. Is this the power of the ultimate way? Born to be the emperor? Luo Hao's figure writhed around, bypassing Yulong, but at this moment, he was considering whether to take the opportunity to flee in the opposite direction. Mo Long was the fastest of the three, followed by Jian Wushuang, and finally him. He wanted to escape at this time, and it was not without a chance. As long as Jian Wushuang could stop God Emperor Mo Long from taking 2 breaths, he could escape. It's a pity that he just stood on the wrong team. If he cooperates with Jian Wushuang, he may be pitted, but there is definitely a chance for him. Cooperating with Mo Long, after Jian Wushuang's fall, it was his turn. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang's combat power was not strong, but his speed was very fast, and he could barely deal with it for a while. Jian Wushuang's side was getting closer and closer to the canyon. Although the Heart Sword world stopped Yulong, it was unable to play the role of God Emperor Mo Long. Even Luo Hao couldn't affect it. Alright, there are still thousands of miles away, and you can reach it with 1 breath. Jian Wushuang's eyes lighted. God Emperor Mo Long felt a little anxious in his heart, always feeling a threat lingering around. Who is it? A strong man in the world of Tongtian Buddhism. He doesn't know much, just a Jiuyu Daojun, with a strength of the top 500 in the universe, but he is not assigned to this primitive star at all, and the strongest remaining is only the peak Dayan Immortal. The ranking is not as high as him, and he is not afraid at all. As for the Darciu, as the only son of the emperor, he follows his father and has a wide range of knowledge. He knows that the Emperor Zhen Wuyang of the Darciu has taken refuge in the Aeon Tower, but Zhen Wushuang, a Dayanxian of the Darciu, has appeared in the world of Tongtian Buddhism. Among the crowd, it was obvious that Zhen Wushuang had already taken refuge in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, and the biggest battle should be the 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal of the world of Tongtian Buddhism. What is his trump card? God Emperor Mo Long's figure is getting closer and closer to Zhen Wushuang, and the threat is getting closer. Who is that threat? It doesn't matter, Yukanshu. Kill him first. God Emperor Mo Long suddenly appeared in his hand with a map of seals, and instantly suppressed the nearby tens of thousands of miles of land. The sky gave birth to a picture of yin and yang town, and the earth fought and turned into a prison in all directions. You can't escape. God Emperor Mo Long yelled angrily, and a majestic arrogance spurted out. The beam of light shot out almost instantly, directly piercing Zhen Wushuang's body. Do not. Just 1 step away, hurry up. Zhen Wushuang roared unwillingly in his heart. At the moment when the divine body completely collapsed, the figure flickered again, and the whole person fell into the canyon formation. God Emperor Mo Long leaped his joy, and he could sense that Zhen Wushuang's aura was steadily weakening, and he had lost any resistance. Luo Hao, go to the canyon to find Zhen Wushuang and play less tricks. You know my methods. God Emperor Mo Long threatened. The Zhenfeng catalogue is an innate treasure that can be fully utilized at the emperor level. Molong's 9th revolution can only cover tens of millions of miles. If there is an emperor's strength, it can spread for hundreds of thousands of miles, and even cover a world. Constant pressure. Bye. Such a treasure is now in the hands of a 9th rank perfect Dayan Immortal. Luo Hao is envious and jealous. As one of the top 10 emperors of the Da Luo realm, he only obtained an ordinary innate treasure after entering the Temple of Chishan. A single attack of average value is the treasure. Even if it is 1,000 pieces, it is not as good as the innate treasure of the Town Seal catalogue. Are you not afraid that I will enter the canyon and join forces with Zhen Wushuang to deal with you? Luo Hao stepped on the crescent flying blade, standing side by side with Mo Long. You can give it a try, God Emperor Mo Long said calmly. Luo Hao's threat to him is very small, and it can even be said that there is no threat. His treasures are very restrained from Luo Hao, who is not fast and is not good at close combat. Chapter 5178. In terms of strength, Luo Hao can only maintain the level of the peak Dian Immortal by burning his roots, and his roots are not a concern. Inside the canyon, Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged in the formation. Fortunately, he killed those Dian Immortals and got a lot of pills from them. At this time, he swallowed all his brains, accelerating the recovery of the evacuated strength in his body. With that blow, he almost completely destroyed his divine body and replaced it with a general ultimate way of the Dian Immortal. The first blow would kill him. Fortunately, he mastered the ultimate way. The divine body was 100 times stronger than the ultimate way. The force is stronger than any Dian Immortal, but after that one, his body was broken in an instant, losing a lot of force. Now to repair the body, one can only use the pill to replenish the strength of the original source. The restore power of the source of the extreme path is very strong, and the body has just been injured, but it has not caused any harm to the source of the source. As long as the origin is not damaged, he can quickly restore the divine body. This is also the advantage of the extreme way and the ultimate way. The origin is extremely powerful, and the ordinary ultimate move can damage the origin very quickly. Having the origin can restore the divine body extremely quickly. This alone makes countless people envy them. One must know that the Emperor Melong's body is on the verge of defeat, and he has spent countless treasures before he can recover within a year. However, this kind of ultimate injury only takes 1 day, and he has mastered the sword of the ultimate path. Wushuang only needs time for a cup of tea. I need time for a cup of tea, Hua Qing, can you stand it? Jian Wushuang's voice was a little weak, looking at the little novice Hua Qing in front of him. I don't know when Hui Qing's figure became so tall and straight, a long robe holding a brown-red long stick upside down, under thick eyebrows, the pair of dark eyes are unusually tough, and the aura is several times stronger than before. Hui Qing nodded. Brother Wushuang, don't worry, I will try my best to delay. Hui Qing said with a light smile. Together with Zen, they are best at fighting in formations. As long as it is the ultimate way, there is no weak source. Although he had just broken through rank 9, his combat power was comparable to that of the peak rank 9 perfect Dian Immortal, and he was not weaker than God Emperor Mo Long by virtue of his formation. Hua Qing flashed around, entered the center of the formation, tilted the long stick, and waited for the enemy to come. With just a breath, Luo Hao from the outside world descended into the formation, but he could not feel the existence of the formation at all, only saw the little novice Hua Qing standing on the edge of the canyon alone. No money to read novels. Give you cash or points, and receive it in 1 day within a limited time. Follow the Public Times Numberbook Friends Basecamp, get it for free. You are Jian Wushuang's backing. Luo Hao smiled contemptuously. The person in front of him felt that he was only at the level of rank 9, and he didn't believe that he could encounter the existence of 2 ultimate ways in 1 day. It is not the ultimate way, a 9-ranked Dian Immortal, no matter how strong it can be, it is at best comparable to an ordinary 9-ranked consummation. Hua Qing put away his fierceness, he knew that there was another person from the outside world, and he had to bring that person over. He had to leak the floor first, so that the outside God Emperor Mo Long could see that as long as both of them entered the formation, he would activate the infinite formation, trapping the other party and slowly consuming it. If there is no one else, then you are ready to die. Luo Hao didn't notice any danger at all, so he acted first, and the flying blade under his feet instantly killed Xiong Hua Qing. Moon Shadow. As soon as he came up, he used his full strength. He wanted to see how the strength of the monk head of the heavenly Buddha realm was. If the strength of the monk head was the same as he guessed, he would kill it and find a way out. If you can take this trick from him, he will turn directly and cooperate with the other party. Jian Wushuang masters the ultimate way and recovers very quickly. The two of them only need to drag the Emperor Morlong when they cooperate, and wait for Jian Wushuang's strength to recover. After a long time, the 3 of them work together to contend, and there is still a way to survive. Luo Hao's little abacus crackled, but he didn't know that the Emperor Morlong from outside had already penetrated everything. Snapped. Hua Qing stomped on the ground with both feet, and his figure instantly jumped to the sky, and the moon shadow directly cut a 10,000-strand high mountain into 2. This was just a moon shadow, and the countless moon shadows that followed made Hui Qing unable to hide. Countless moon shadows are broken by one stick. The red-brown long stick was towering thousands of battles, smashing into the moon shadow. Countless moon blades hit the brown long stick, but they couldn't cause any damage, just like an ice blade falling to the ground, shattered by the smash. Thousands of long sticks swept the entire canyon and scattered countless moon shadows. Luo Hao flew away from the canyon before avoiding the terrifying stick. A little bit of strength. Luo Hao smiled back and rushed out from the crescent blade under his feet. The buzzing through the sky pierced people's eardrums, Hui Qing gritted her teeth, and the long stick returned to its original size. With the dripping stick method, it barely blocked the crescent blade. The crescent blade of the innate treasure violently collided with the long stick itself several times. Luo Hao, who was manipulating the blade in the distance, frowned, and said sadly, "Is the ninth rank Dian Immortal already carrying the innate treasure? I originally thought that in many big worlds, as the Emperor of the higher worlds, he could get a congenital treasure by entering the Temple of Chishan, which was already regarded as very much valued. But now, I first met the abnormality of the Emperor Mo Long. There are many scary treasures, much more than the treasures of the general second-order emperors www.mtlnovel.com. There are several top innate treasures alone. There are more ordinary innate treasures. Right now, the monk head of the heavenly Buddha realm also possesses the innate treasure, and the power that he only reveals is much stronger than his moon-shaped blade. If it hadn't been for this red-brown stick, it would have been impossible to block him for so long. An innate treasure can make a rank 9 Dian Immortal comparable to the top rank 9 Dian Immortal. This is the charm of the supreme treasure. Just like the demon lord of wind and rain, he masters the eternal treasure, possesses the peak emperor's combat power, and constantly pressures all enemies. Kaishui Walker still pulls a large group of powerful people to negotiate with the wind and rain demon lord. If those forces do not hold together, the wind and rain demon lord can suppress any top power by relying on the Aeon Tower. Even other peak forces do not necessarily have the eternal treasure. After all, the strength of the eternal treasure can affect the combat power of a fifth-order emperor. Such treasures are rare among fifth-order emperors, and few emperors bestow them on his disciples. Unless it does not affect its own combat power, it will be granted. Just like the ruler of the Deluo realm, he has a set of best innate treasures, and the remaining treasures seem insignificant. This time the Temple of the Gods is opened, the treasure house is opened, and half of the treasures are given to his men. Of course, most of them were given to the emperor. After all, the emperor was the main core of this battle. Those other emperors who do not like it will be given to them, these so-called emperor heirs. In addition to the top 10 emperors in the Deluo realm, there are also some chief disciples of the emperors who will also get the innate treasure. Their top 10 emperors were only cultivated under the ruler of the great Luo realm. Although they were noble on the surface, they were actually inferior to the direct disciples of those emperors in terms of treasures. Especially the so-called emperor like the Emperor Mo Long, who can't look down on them at all. Chapter 51-79. He is the real son of the emperor, and he is also the only son. After the success of the emperor and the monarch, the bloodline is very powerful, and it is difficult to give birth to another heir. Just such an only son, very fond of the only son, and even a third of the world. The division of one domain was given to Mo Long to manage, satisfying his emperor's hobby. In terms of talent, God Emperor Mo Long was really ordinary, but his father's bloodline was strong, allowing him to realize the powerful Tao of origin after all, and then he had many secret treasures around him to gain peak combat power. But these are all foreign objects. All Dian Immortals are pursuing Her Tao, and Her Tao is the only one. Only if you succeed in harmony and become the emperor, can you truly escape the universe and become the strongest. This is the Tao that Luo Hao pursues. Now he can't fall, even if he is dead, he will die in the process of harmony. Your Excellency, can we talk? Luo Hao said. Although Hui Qing's strength is not as strong as him, he still has the strength of an ordinary top-level Dian Immortal. With Jian Wushuang and their 3 burning origins, they still have the hope to compete against God Emperor Mo Long. As long as they persist for a few hours, their Da Luo realm the chief emperor can arrive. The one who should be desperate by then is God Emperor Mo Long. Hua Qing froze for a moment, and said cautiously, "How do you want to talk?" Cooperation. The two of them fought fiercely on the surface, but secretly it was the Emperor Mo Long who was plotting the outside world. Jian Wushuang crossed his knees in the cave, ignorant of the struggles outside. Essence mobilizes the power of the whole body, and constantly repairs the damaged divine body. From the outside, the speed of the divine body's repair is visible to the naked eye, and this speed is unheard of in the entire universe. It's almost, I don't know if Hui Qing will stand it. Jian Wushuang was a little anxious at this time. I glanced at the floating identity token in my mind. Trial, Jian Wushuang record, 400,000 rank, 4,786 trial time, 3 years trial period, 30 years. There are still more than 20 years to go. Although I am not in a hurry, it will be difficult for us to have such an opportunity in the future. If the two top 1,000 strong players can keep them, both he and Hua Qing will be ranked, can enter the first 1,000, and can maintain until the end of the trial. This is an opportunity once and for all, and we must not let it go easily. A glance at the rankings of God Emperor Morlong and Luo Hao, one is more than 500 and the other is more than 900. According to Luo Hao's words, this kind of powerhouse is basically not near the mountains, and most of them are fighting on those main continents. Now, although the primordial star's Dian has fallen by 30%, there are still 1 million left, so they really dare to fight. Yes, I am afraid it will be tens of thousands. Most of the other Dian immortals who knew they had no chance were hidden in some mountains. 70% of the primordial star's boundaries are mountains, 20% are deep pits left by lakes, and another 10% are continents. This boundary is very small for Dian immortal, and you can meet the digit 9 rend consummation Dian immortal by just swinging around. There are even groups of forces clinging together, sweeping the quartet and killing the lone travelers. In that dangerous zone, it takes too many battles to rush into the first 1,000. His strength can touch the top Dian immortal at most, and it is only a little faster. On the mainland, his speed will no longer be an advantage, because there are too many powerhouses, and under chase and interception, he can't use his speed advantage at all. Now the only opportunity is right in front of him, and he has to grasp it firmly. Cool. Recovering faster than the last time, Jian Wushuang slowly got up. This time he escaped from the dead, which made him strengthen a lot, and his thought power was much stronger than before. A pitch-black spear burst out from the cave, piercing the entire mountain peak with an indispensable momentum, and went straight to the Emperor Morlong standing proudly in the sky. Mo Long turned slightly, and grabbed the spear that was passing in front of his eyes. He didn't even get hurt. Could that breath come out of disguise? God Emperor Mo Long was a little surprised. He knew that Luo Hao went down and was stopped by Hua Qing. Since Luo Hao went down, he didn't feel the sense of crisis anymore. This also made him very strange. Now Jian Wushuang suddenly came out again, and it didn't seem to be at all injured. Maybe I was worrying too much, Mo Long muttered to himself, his figure suddenly descending into the depths of the canyon. Jian Wushuang also walked out of the cave here. Mo Long, you are dead today. There was a cold light in Jian Wu's eyes. After planning for a long time, these two people finally came in. Hua Qing, start the big array. Hua Qing, who was still fighting with Luo Hao, leaked a smile, and this time directly said to Luo Hao loudly, "Now, let's say goodbye." What? Luo Hao was stunned for a moment. What does this mean? Didn't you just talk about it well? Looking at a very honest monk, just run as you say. Before he could react, the entire canyon flew into sand and rocks, and the world revolved. The big formation changed around. Luo Hao, who was originally in an open area, suddenly appeared on a hillside. The sky above his head suddenly appeared under his feet, but the sacred mountain of Wanzhang appeared above his head, a huge pressure momentarily. Pouring. Mo Long was also shocked. How can there be a big formation in this place? He has been staring at Luo Hao and the monk head. It's impossible for them to arrange the formation in such a short time. Mo Long was also instantly moved to another boundary. Luo Hao. Mo Long's face was gloomy. Mo Long. Luo Hao's expression was also very ugly. The two of them glanced at each other, and instantly understood that they were overcast by Jian Wushuang. That threat was gradually growing, and Mo Long's heart sank. Huh. Jian Wushuang held an ordinary long sword upside down and appeared in front of the two in an instant, and Hui Qing appeared with him. Brother Luo Hao, let's help you. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. Hui Qing also nodded. After hearing this, God Emperor Mo Long hurriedly backed away and distanced himself from Luo Hao. The big formation has weakened his strength by 30%. He is now the peak of the ordinary level, Dian Immortal. Once Luo Hao burns his origin, he can be equal to him. Although he still has some treasures and hole cards, he is now a pair. 3. Dare not be careless. Morlong God Emperor. Luo Hao opened his mouth, looked at Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing again, and finally exhaled deeply and shouted, "Your death date is here." Although it was just a breath, he had already thought about it countless times in his heart. Instead of being a dog for Mo Long, there was a risk of being killed in the end. It was better to cooperate with Jian Wushuang to deal with Mo Long. In his opinion, Jian Wushuang and the others are average. Even with the big formation, the three of them can at best contend with Mo Long. As long as there is a delay, the chief emperor of the big Luo world will be able to arrive. The initiative is in his hands. Moreover, it can also take the opportunity to weaken Mo Long's strength, waiting for the other emperors in the clan to come over, just to take advantage of the fisherman's profit. This is the best policy. Chapter 5180. Brother Wushuang, today we joined hands to kill Morlong and share Molong's record together, Luo Hao said sternly. Standing far away, Mo Longqi's teeth tickled. This time he was careless, and he fell on Jian Wu's hands. Jian Wushuang, don't blame me for not reminding you. The other emperors of the Deluo realm are rushing here. If you cooperate with Luo Hao against me, you will only let them reap the benefits of the fisherman. Emboldened, if you can avoid this battle, you can avoid it. In case this great formation really hurts him, it will be very troublesome to deal with the other emperors of the Da Luo realm. Jian Wushuang shook his head, looking like I didn't believe it, and said coldly, "Stop talking nonsense, do it." Hui Qing, mobilize the formation and loosen the shackles on Luo Hao. This person is of great use. After Jian Wushuang finished speaking, he spoke to Hui Qing. Kill. Luo Hao's body became lighter, he lost his sense of restraint, and he was overjoyed. At the moment, he was the first to rush to the Emperor Morlong, and Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing naturally followed. 3 people besiege. Luo Hao not only did not reduce his strength in the big formation at this time, but because of the strength of the big formation, he was also improved. After a while, the strength can instantly be comparable to the peak Dian Immortal, and one person can entangle the God Emperor Morlong. The crescent blade slashed across the chest of God Emperor Morlong again, and before he could react, Hui Qing made a horizontal pick from behind, slamming Morlong into the mountain. Jian Wushuang understands the ultimate kendo. He is the master of the sword, his figure flashes, his eyes are full of blood, he splits several swords in succession. Although this long sword is only an ordinary treasure, but it has the blessing of the ultimate kendo, its power is still able to threaten God Emperor Morlong. Puff. Under the siege of the 3 people, God Emperor Mo Long was somewhat unsupported. He did not expect that this great formation could not only suppress his strength, but also that the control of the formation could separate the power of the great formation, allowing Jian Wushuang and others to be blessed. This kind of complex formation cannot be arranged every 3 to 5 years, and this type of formation is not available to ordinary people. There is also a formation in his kingdom of God. It was the formation that his father paid a lot of money to. He also knew at the time that the emperor-level formations were arranged by the emperor. They were basically not spread, and they could only buy ready-made ones. For example, a certain emperor refines a formation method. As long as it is not a world-class formation method, it can be put away at will. That type of formation method is extremely useful to the emperor, and the price is very expensive. Some weak emperors, if they can't hire the master of the formation, they will buy a movable formation and place it in their dojo to suppress Yanli. If the formation in the canyon is movable, the arrangement is much simpler. Mo Long's brows twitched, and he turned to Hua Qing and said in his heart, "It should be the formation of this monk head. As long as the control of the formation is killed, the formation will naturally collapse." A murderous flash in his eyes, and an instant counterattack began. Jian Wushuang sensed Mo Long's thoughts at the moment, and hurriedly said, "Hua Qing, go back." A huge picture book of the 8 directions appeared, and Mo Long, who was originally suppressed, took a sigh of relief, and his strength skyrocketed instantly, killing Xiong Hua Qing. Seeing this, Luo Hao naturally understood that the big formation was arranged by Hua Qing, and if Mo Long succeeded at this time, he would give up all his previous work. "Fight! You're dead, all the treasures are mine." Luo Hao roared in his heart, the original power burned again, and the blade in his hand quickly turned. Luo Hao, who was not good at close combat, directly stood in front of Hua Qing, and Mo Long started a hand-to-hand fight. Boom! Looking for death. God Emperor Mo Long no longer dared to be big, with a strong killing intent in his heart. "Originally I wanted to keep Luo Hao this bait, but now it seems that I don't need to keep it." Ding! The secret treasure at the center of his eyebrows flickered, and the entire divine body of Mo Long's body was soaring. At this moment, the aura in his body was rising, and the entire immeasurable array was shaking. The seal is lifted. An ancient breath erupted from Divine Emperor Mo Long's body, and that power climbed all the way, surpassed the peak of Dian Immortal, and went straight to the limit for consummation. Luo Hao, who was originally full of confidence, was a little dazed. It was too late to retreat, so he could only shout, "Brother Wushuang, come and help me." Jian Wushuang was standing in the distance, watching all this quietly. The Emperor Mo Long has already used his whole cards, and Luo Hao doesn't need to keep it. There was no pity in Hui Qingming Jing's eyes, she just nodded gently. Originally thought that Hui Qing would be a little uncomfortable, but now she has become decisive and will give up if she gives up. This is different from when he first met. Jian Wushuang secretly decided in his heart that after this time, he was going to separate from Hua Qing. The secret of this person is definitely not smaller than that of him. Both of them are taking the path of the strong. Sooner or later, there will be one day you have to walk on the opposite side. It is better to separate earlier. Temple of Chishan, the highest trial, the original star. Jian Wushuang had a feeling that the appearance of Chishan Temple was not only a secret boost to the original universe. Primal Star is only the first step, and there will be more trials in the future, and I don't know when to leave the Temple of Discord. Behind all this, there must be some kind of connection, maybe those emperors know it. Maybe even the emperor doesn't know it. The relationship between the Chishan Temple is too great, and Hua Qing once again entered the Tao after the birth of the Chishan Temple, bursting out with super strength. He had to wonder whether this person was the reincarnation of a powerful person. Jian Wushuang sighed. Ever since he left Darciu, the entire primitive universe has become bloody, from Shengu Road to the army of corpses, and then suddenly grasped the strength of his mind to realize the ultimate way. His consciousness entered the starry sky, and then opened to the Temple of Chishan at the back. Will these be related? It would be great if the old guy Xian Yi was here. This old guy knows this kind of cosmic secrets best. It's a pity that Jian Wushuang has forgotten how many years he hasn't seen him since that time. Judging from his current vision, Xian Yi's strength is still a mystery, able to travel through the universe, wandering around, and not afraid of the existence of Zhan Wuyang, starting as a fifth-order emperor. Such a strong old guy really doesn't think about him all day long, but he just doesn't know if the Chishan Temple is born this time, that old guy will come to join in the fun. This thought gradually came up, and then disappeared in his mind in an instant. What matters now is how to calculate the death of these two people. It is not the time to think about this. The sudden eruption of God Emperor Mo Long caught Luo Hao by surprise, and only two moves caused Luo Hao's divine body to begin to break. Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing didn't have any intention to go up and help, which made Luo Hao very desperate. The two of them were not afraid that he would die. Would Mo Long go to deal with them? Divine Emperor Mo Long, I will cooperate with you and let me go. Luo Hao couldn't stand it anymore. This time he could feel Divine Emperor Mo Long's killing intent, and he began to be afraid. It was not easy to practice all the way. He didn't want to just fall away. Chapter 5181. Divine Emperor Mo Long, who has already opened the ancient secret treasures, has decided to kill, and now it is difficult to understand his hatred if he does not kill a person. Haha, stop struggling, let me fall. Divine Emperor Mo Long almost tore Luo Hao's divine body with a powerful hand, cracking his skull. Hello everyone, our public account will find gold and coin red envelopes every day, and you can receive them as long as you pay attention. Please seize the opportunity for the last benefit at the end of the year. No public. Luo Hao's body began to drain, and he roared unwillingly, Mo Long, kill me. I am willing to give you the identity token and all the achievements to you. Boom. The only one who greeted Luo Hao was a heavy punch, without the intention of stopping. Me, puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Luo Hao was still not reconciled, and then begged for mercy. God Emperor Morlong, as long as you let me go, I can join hands with you to kill the emperor of my clan. They have tens of millions of records, I know their weakness. Divine Emperor Mo Long, with undiminished killing intent in his eyes, fists blasted Luo Hao's head violently. To tell you the truth, the reason why I stayed with you for so long is to seduce you, those emperors in the Deluo realm. God Emperor Morlong grabbed Luo Hao's neck with one hand, and raised a fist with the other hand. Smashed on Luo Hao's face. You are just a bait, idiot. Luo Hao completely gave up. Today he will die. He began to curse Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing, and the whole person became extremely crazy. The second rank origin is extremely wide, a thick road, now on the verge of collapse. Luo Hao directly burned the last part of the origin, so that the strength reached the peak, and instantly broke free from the clutches of the Emperor Morlong. Haha, I didn't expect Luo Hao to fall here today. He is a top-level Dian Immortal with so many allies in this primitive star, but he does not go to the main continent to fight, and hides in this mountain range to hunt down some weak Dian Immortals, which is obviously a pity. Now that he is completely desperate, one can imagine how crazy he is. Haha, in that case, let's die together. The crazy Luo Hao, after throwing away the Emperor Morlong, held high the innate treasure and rushed towards Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing. Is this going to explode to the source? God Emperor Mo Long smiled grimly. Luo Hao's blood still remained on the golden glove, slipping drop by drop, which seemed to mean that Luo Hao's life was gradually dissipating. Jian Wushuang, who also had control of the large formation, instantly twisted his body and dissipated in place. It's ridiculous to want to take him to bury him in this big formation. Jian Wushuang was taken aback, and secretly said, where is Hua Qing? Just that long distance, there is time to react. Hua Qing is not weak, and she should follow her to teleport away. Although it feels that Hua Qing has changed a lot now, but after all, there is a relationship between life and death, and her figure is back to the original place again in a flash. Luo Hao has fallen. There was no trace of Luo Hao's breath in this world, and it disappeared cleanly. Hua Qing was still standing in the same place, but the long red-brown stick in his hand stretched out, and Luo Hao's innate treasure was hanging above it. Recommend an app, comparable to the old version of the book-chasing artifact, can change the source books for all Mimi read. This. Jian Wushuang was a little stunned. He left for an instant, and Luo Hao fell silently. The Divine Emperor Mo Long in the distance lifted all the seals of the ancient secret treasures at this time. His divine body instantly increased 10 times, and his strength naturally increased 10 times. However, he only resisted the pressure of the immeasurable array for a moment. It still fell on him. Although his strength was suppressed by nearly 30%, it was increased tenfold later, and now he had the strength of the limit Dian Immortal threshold. If it is outside, he can display the strength of the 9th rank consummation limit, but it is a pity that this big formation has weakened 30% of its strength. Mo Long glanced at Jian Wushuang first, and then stared at Hua Qing fiercely, obviously very jealous. Jian Wushuang understood now. Luo Hao fell into Hua Qing's hand. It's a pity that he didn't see all of this, but was watched by God Emperor Mo Long. He could kill the pinnacle Dian Immortal instantly, or the desperate pinnacle Dian Immortal. How strong should Hua Qing be? Jian Wushuang is simply unacceptable. He has practiced, step by step, and barely be able to match the top-level Dian Immortal in the 9th ranked consummation. Hua Qing first stepped into the Tao, showing the 9th-ranked consummation combat power. After entering the primal star, his strength has become a lot stronger. It is comparable to him, and both have the top combat power of rank 9. But now, he only left for a day, and Hua Qing broke through again, and it seemed that his strength was no longer weaker than that of God Emperor Mo Long, who used the secret treasure, otherwise he wouldn't make the opponent so jealous. Jian Wushuang had to take a deep breath to calm his mood. Hua Qing had his own secret. He couldn't ask too much, and he didn't know how to speak at the moment. Brother Wushuang, I have made a breakthrough recently. I forgot to say hello. Hua Qing seemed to see Jian Wushuang's mind and took the lead to break the silence. Jian Wushuang smiled and shook his head. You're welcome. Everyone's specific strength is very vague. No one will tell anyone how strong he is. It is normal for Hua Qing not to tell him after breaking through. God Emperor Mo Long looked at them like a monster. Jian Wushuang, this fellow Taoist next to you is the head of the monk in the world of Tongtian Buddhism? Divine Emperor Mo Long tentatively asked because of the master of the world. He also paid attention to the strong men of the world of Tongtian Buddhism. Apart from Jiuyu Daojun, there are not many that can be seen. The strongest is a top-level Dayan Immortal. How come a limit Dayan Immortal that reaches the heavenly Buddha realm suddenly appeared on this primitive? Jian Wushuang didn't answer. After looking at Hua Qing, he just nodded faintly. Divine Emperor Mo Long recalled carefully, and he clearly wrote down those who were better than him on the list of universe gods and demons in his mind, but he didn't have the slightest information about the person in front of him. The atmosphere in the gorge gradually solidified, full of killing intent. And outside the mountain range, the 3 emperors of the Luo realm gathered together and were flying quickly towards the canyon. Luo Hao has fallen. There was a golden halo in the eyes of a burly man. His whole body was tightly wrapped, only a pair of pale golden eyes leaked out, and his voice also appeared very gloomy. Boom! The 3 speeded up again, and went straight to the direction of the canyon. The burly man is the chief emperor of the Luo realm. His strength is comparable to the ultimate Dayan Immortal. The 2 next to him also have the strength of the peak Dayan Immortal. The 3 of them gather, except for the top few of the original stars. Outside the Taoist monarch, the other strong are not afraid. Divine Emperor Morlong was just a peak, and Luo Hao also told them that the strength of Divine Emperor Morlong had not recovered and his divine body was injured. Luo Hao fell in madness, but he didn't tell them that there was a monk head no less than God Emperor Morlong. At that time, Luo Hao used people like them as a bargaining chip, and before he died, he never thought about telling these people that there was a peak power. In the Great Luo realm, their 10 emperors also fought fiercely with each other, only now they entered the primordial star and began to cling together. But even if it is a group, it is not easy to run so far to save Luo Hao without being sure. Chapter 5182. The premise is good. For example, God Emperor Mo Long has injuries, a wounded peak, Dayan Immortal, and ranks more than 500. He has a lot of records. It is because of such a piece of fat that they will not hesitate to run. Come so far to save Luo Hao. Now that Luo Hao has fallen, they can only follow the previous induction to find the whereabouts of God Emperor Morlong. If you can't find it, then forget it. If you find it, you will kill God Emperor Morlong by the name of revenge, and divide his record. The top powerhouse among the 3 Dayan Immortals speeds up again. Inside the canyon. The Great Array is at stake in the chaos and may collapse at any time. The strength of God Emperor Mo Long surpassed the imagination of the 2 of them, and the strength displayed in the big formation could approach the limit of Dayan Immortal. If in the outside world, even if the 2 of them joined forces, they couldn't compete against Mo Long. Fortunately, they had an infinite array that had been weakening God Emperor Mo Long, and greatly blessed the 2 of them to fight against Mo Long. The 9 revolving consummation limit Dayan Immortal is very rare in this primordial star. Each of them ranks in the top 100. Except for a few Dao monarchs, they are the strongest existence. After so many years of melee, I haven't heard of a limit Dayan Immortal that has fallen. Each of them can hunt on the main continent, and they are not afraid of those united perfect Dayan Immortals. No wonder Mo Long was not in a hurry when dealing with Luo Hao. This was his whole card. Jian Wushuang, I don't have much record, do you really want to force me to do it? Mo Long also noticed that the two of them wanted to keep him this time. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang said coldly, in order to seduce you, I almost fell, how could I let you go? Haha, good. Mo Long's teeth tickled. Even if he desperately killed Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing, he would not get much record, instead he might be seriously injured again. Jian Wushuang's strength is good. Even in the big formation, it is not too strong. Hua Qing is different. With the blessing of the big formation, plus the strength of the peak Dian Immortal, it can be in the big formation. Comparable with him. Now that he loses the advantage of strength, he can only turn himself over with the help of treasures. Hua Qing stands tall in the sky, with a long stick in his hand, and his breath is not the master. After the three stopped briefly, they fought together again. Boom! Hua Qing stepped out in an instant, and his breath caused countless mountains and rocks around him to tremble and crack, and his whole body almost instantly came to Mo Long's side. Bang! The stick technique is weird and unpredictable. It collided with Mo Long's boxing technique. The two sides lost each other's strength, but they didn't have time to recover, so they fought together again. Jian Wushuang relied on his speed to attack Mo Long's physical weakness. Kill. Jian Wushuang's figure suddenly appeared behind God Emperor Morlong, and the long sword cut directly in the middle. Xinghu's sword intent is extremely fierce, and the terrifying power of the ultimate way is fully displayed. Mo Long's upper body was still fighting Hua Qing in the air, but his lower body had been cut off. Because of the explosion of the secret treasure, the divine body has increased by more than 10 times, and the damage of the physical body can't hurt him at all, but the physical body is restored in an instant. Jian Wushuang also noticed that the divine emperor Mo Long, whose flesh had reached the perfect level, could break open the flesh with simple moves, but could not harm the total amount of the divine body. Moreover, Mo Long had the most treasured guardian body, and his body was immortal. Fortunately, Hui Qing's cudgel skills are fierce, every move, every attempt is extremely powerful, only to consume a little Mo Long's divine body. However, the amount of divine body consumed was insignificant to the powerful Mo Long. No, it's too difficult to kill him. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. A magnificent scene descended, the fifth layer of the heart sword world of the ultimate way. The rise of mental strength and sword intent caused Jian Wushuang's momentum to rise to the sky. Heart sword test. This was the strongest sword he had realized when this was the 6th level of the ultimate way. The ultimate way to break the mirror, he has no time to create more swordsmanship, and now the strongest sword, with the blessing of the heart and the big formation, is about to reach the peak level. Coupled with the blessing of heart strength, this sword changed the color of the world. Divine Emperor Mo Long, who was fighting Hui Qing's eyes, shrank, his heart trembled, and he secretly said no. The power of that sword was not that strong, but the Tao contained in it made him a little breathless. Bang! 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 Hui Qing's stick technique was so complete that he didn't give Mo Long a chance to get out of his body. When he was distracted, he swung out tens of thousands of sticks in an instant, firmly suppressing the Emperor Mo Long. Every time the long stick hits the flesh, his divine body is damaged. There are tens of thousands of sticks in succession. Because of the distraction, he hasn't prevented a few hits. All of them are smashed firmly on the flesh. Corrupted his divine body. Damn it. Mo Long's mouth was already overflowing with golden blood. These are all good, just a small injury. The sword behind him is a cruel move. Yijian broke his state of mind, and Yuanyuan also began to tremble at that moment, making him extremely anxious, annoyed, and irritable. Haha, Divine Emperor Morlong, how do you feel? Jian Wushuang pulled away and looked at Mo Long from a distance. His strongest sword, with the blessing of the big formation, was able to force it. He hurt God Emperor Mo Long, but he was only a rank 6 Dian Immortal. As long as he goes one step further and advances to rank 9, when Yanli ranks 9th, his strength will undergo a qualitative change. Even if there is no big formation at that time, he is not worthy of any peak Da Yang. Jian Wushuang, you angered me. God Emperor Mo Long roared. At this moment he directly ignored Hui Qing's long stick. A dazzling light instantly illuminates the entire canyon. The eye of the beast god. It was the golden eye of the god Emperor Morlong. The eye of the beast at this time was completely opened. Its function is not only to make the divine body explode 10 times its power, it also has a terrifying realm. Beast god phantom. Out. An ancient call came out, and an ancient beast appeared behind god Emperor Morlong. It has a row of white flowers and sharp fangs, a majestic figure, a perfect body. Every inch of bone fits its structure very well, but its huge body and head are very small. It may be because it has no ears. His head looked very round, but the big mouth of the blood basin, but it was extremely hideous, especially when the pale eyes were staring at Jian Wushuang and others. It could affect the monk's state of mind, causing fear in his heart. If the beast god realm dealt with other powerhouses, this alone would be able to scare these weak points to death on the spot. But Jian Wushuang is a cultivator who has mastered his mental power. It is extremely rare in the entire universe. The mental power cultivator Jian Wushuang has seen is also an immeasurable Buddha. Under the recommendation, the reading app one I'm using recently, Mima Reading App, has many book sources, complete books, and fast update. Controlling his mind, that little power of fear in the beast god domain could not affect him at all. Chapter 5183. As for Hua Qing, he has realized the Zhongji Dao in the ultimate path, and he is not afraid of this field that affects the state of mind. The way of Zen mechanism is the most suitable ultimate way to enable Hui Qingming to realize the original mind. Anyone who can master the Zen mechanism together will have almost no bottleneck before the 9th revolving consummation. The understanding of the original mind is vain. It is also that He Dao can block their way. If He Dao is successful, I can't imagine how strong a Zen Ji Dao ultimate emperor will be. God Emperor Morlong also found something wrong. He didn't even notice the change on the faces of Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing. It's impossible. Morlong was a little mad. This is his strongest support. With the beast god realm, he is not even afraid of Extreme Dian Immortal. He can even fight Extreme Dian Immortal. Now he is actually facing Jian Wushuang. There is no effect at all with Hua Qing. Jian Wushuang mastered the ultimate way, and the sword intent contained mental strength. It was enough to be able to resist, no matter how the monk head could resist. Could it be that he is also a spiritual practitioner? Morlong, who is quite knowledgeable, also knows that there are some powerful spiritual practitioners in the universe, but he hasn't heard of any of them in Dian Immortal who can cultivate mind power. Not a spiritual practitioner, but the ultimate way. Suddenly met the two ultimate ways. He doesn't know whether it is good luck or bad luck now. The one with bad luck is the encounter with two perverts, and the good luck is because these two people have not yet grown up. If the two ultimate ways of the 9th round consummation Dian Immortal, then they would be two half-step emperors. There was a fierce light in Jian Wushuang's eyes, and Morlong seemed to have run out of cards, and now it was his turn. There are many treasures, can you do whatever you want? Jian Wushuang sneered, put away the long sword, and waved it out. Today I will let you see, what is a domain? Hua Qing moved slightly, looked at Jian Wushuang, and was surprised. Could it be? One thought of the universe. Jian Wushuang shook his right hand outstretched. The Yanli within the tens of millions of miles near the canyon began to churn almost instantly, and a magnificent avenue of origins directly showed a phantom, suppressing everything. The immeasurable avenues contained in the big formation began to tremble. The beast god realm that Morlong was displaying directly began to collapse. When the beast god phantom saw the starry sky of the universe, his pale eyes leaked the color of yearning, but it was defeated in an instant, and it was too late to take the last look. Outside world. The three emperors of Da Luojie, who were already very close to the gorge, looked at the round enchantment in the distance, and their hearts trembled. Something is wrong, there are strong ones. A surprise flashed in the eyes of the chief emperor. They were worried that they could not find God Emperor Morlong, but suddenly there was a battle nearby. It seemed that they had the power of the peak Dian Immortal, but Morlong must have not run away. There are very few peaks in the mountains, Dian Immortal, and now that Luo Hao has just fallen, God Emperor Morlong must have not gone far. He encountered other strong men and fought. The few of them were planning to besiege divine Emperor Morlong, but Luo Hao couldn't stand the fall in the middle of the journey. He thought he would run for nothing, but he didn't expect to get to the place and gave them unexpected joy. Luo Hao fell. In their opinion, even if the mountainside is safer, with the cunning mind of God Emperor Morlong, he will definitely leave the hidden aura quickly. They are going to try their luck, in case they encounter it. Now it seems that what happened was more perfect than they thought. Mo Long faced up with other strong men, and they could take advantage of the fisherman's profit again. Quick! The chief emperor of the big Luo world, forbearing his excitement. Although they are not far away, they are still afraid of accidents. After all, a Dayan immortal who ranks more than 500 and is still injured is a piece of fat. If Mo Long can be killed, all three of them can live in the mountains. Jian Wushuang and the others didn't know that several emperors in the Deluo realm had noticed them, and they were coming at an extremely fast speed. This is the realm. God Emperor Mo Long looked around tens of millions of imaginary universes in disbelief. Do not. The universe is not illusory, but a small real world. Although there is no life, it contains a magnificent road. Here, Jian Wushuang is full of information. The first time he used one thought in the universe was only 1,000,000 miles. At that time, he was able to deal with the perfect Xiong Bingyun with the 3rd rank of strength. Although Xiong Bingyun had just recovered, his strength was not too strong in the 9th revolution of consummation, but the universe at that time was only 1,000,000 miles. Now the scope has been expanded 10 times, but the combat power is definitely not 10 times, but more than 100 times. This is Jian Wushuang's biggest trump card, Nianli Universe, made by one thought. Within tens of thousands of miles, I am the only one. This is his dojo, a movable dojo. The increase of the immeasurable array gave him the strength of the top-level Dayan Immortal, and the Heart Sword world increased his sword intent to the peak level. However, thinking of the universe made him 10 times more combat power. This is not Mo Long's eye of the beast god. It is only when the seal is completely lifted that there are still troubles, and he has strengthened 10 times the divine body, which is truly transformed into actual combat power. It's only 3 times. Yin Yan Universe made Jian Wushuang 10 times stronger, and he became the peak Dayan Immortal. The sword intent in the Heart Sword world is even more comparable to the combat power of the ultimate Dayan Immortal. Jian Wushuang was suspended in the air, the ordinary supreme sword appeared in his hands, sword intent rose. Heart Sword world. With the blessing of tens of thousands of miles, the Heart Sword tried in the Heart Sword world, condensing billions of sword energy, and finally formed a huge sword shadow. Go with, call out. Jian Ying rushed towards Mo Long, but Mo Long could only use the full set of Golden Dragon to madly resist. But the tip of the sword still pierced through his flesh, and an unprecedented slaying air began to devour his divine body, and even the most precious body protector could not be the main gear. Bang! RRR. Mo Long endured great pain, only to get rid of the phantom longsword with a single blow. It was just a sword that broke his perfect body and consumed 1,000th of his god. This is only a moment. Hum. 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 Send red envelopes to read the benefit. You have up to 888 cash red envelopes to be drawn. Follow the Weishin public account book friend base camp to draw red envelope. The phantom long sword, divided into 9 swords, surrounds God Emperor Morlong. Although the phantom long sword is divided, the power contained in it has not diminished in the slightest. Jian Wushuang's phantom sword based on the Heart Sword world is different from the Heart Sword trial. The former is to cooperate with the universe of one mind, and only in the universe of one mind can he condense the phantom sword. The universe of one mind can be manipulated by him at most. 9 phantom swords. Just call it a magic sword Tess. Jian Wushuang said lightly. With his level of kendo, there are many things that need to be supplemented for the trick that he has created temporarily now. For example, 9 phantom swords can be formed into a sword formation to increase its killing power. But now he doesn't have time to think about it. 9 phantom swords are enough to deal with Mo Long Hui Qing. Stop him. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank, and he found a scarlet crystal pillar suddenly appeared in Mo Long's hand. He had seen Luo Hao's black crystal pillar and knew how terrifying it was. Chapter 5184. Mo Long owns the Zhenfeng catalog, as well as the innate top treasure Town Yulo. Both of these treasures have a suppressive effect, and the Zhenfeng catalog is like a small mobile formation. He can hide in danger. Jian Wushuang doesn't have any supreme treasure right now, and he has an ordinary supreme treasure long sword in his hand. The Dayan immortals killed are all ordinary rank 9, the strength is average, and there are not many treasures. Since seeing the treasures of God Emperor Morlong, Jian Wushuang's vision has also widened. The treasures he dreamed of before were not taken seriously anymore. Except for the peak treasures, the other treasures were like scrap copper and rotten iron. That scarlet crystal pillar made Jian Wushuang's heart palpitations. This thing is definitely not a good thing. After hearing his words, Hua Qing rushed to stop Mo Long, but it was still too late, and the scarlet crystal pillar was put into the groove on the top of the Zhenyu Tower by the Emperor Mo Long. A ray of blood began to rise, and the scarlet crystal pillar was not the crystal of destruction in Jian Wushuang's imagination. It did not explode, but turned into a stream of blood and poured it on Zhenyu Tower. This water sloped along the top of the Zhenyu Tower, irrigated the entire Zhenyu Tower, and then ran down on the town seal catalogue. The blood flowed into the eyes of the 8 squares, a scarlet mist began to rise, and the eyes of God Emperor Mo Long turned red. Under the irrigation of blood water, the catalogue of the town's seal has merged with the town's jade building. This is my father's innate treasure in the world. You can witness the power of the blood jade palace, and it is worth it. God Emperor Mo Long did not expect that this is the first step in the trial, so he will be the greatest. The trump card was forced out. If the ancient secret treasure Eye of the Beast God is a treasure used to enhance strength, then this blood jade palace is the treasure that his father saved his life. Although the power of the Beast God's Eye is special, the entire primitive universe does not have the same treasure. It was obtained by his father in the long river of time and space. Although the power of this ancient treasure is special, after the Fourth Order Emperor, his father it won't be used anymore. It was bestowed on him. Few people knew the power of this secret treasure. If they knew the special features, the Third Order Emperor would be crazy about it. At the Emperor level, as long as it is a treasure that can increase the strength of the Emperor, no one will sell it, even if it is sold at an ridiculously high price. The Blood Jade Palace is actually the pinnacle treasure among the congenital treasures, and it is also the most precious palace treasure among the treasures. Back then, Mo Long's father used it to cross the primordial universe, and even went to the Jade Palace of Blood and Blood to drift in the long river of time and space. If it weren't for the Temple of Chishan, he would not give this precious treasure to his son. This kind of treasure is like an adult giving a horse to a 3-year-old child. It is simply a violent thing. Mo Long didn't have the strength to manipulate the Blood Jade Palace. It was his father who condensed his crystal blood to him, so that he could use part of the bleeding Jade Palace's power. But these powers are enough for him to keep it secret. Jian Wushuang stared at the Blood Jade Palace. In addition to shock, he was shocked. Divine Emperor Mo Long had taken out several pieces of this kind of treasure that he had never seen before. Mo Long never thought it would be so difficult to kill him, a rank 6 Dayan immortal, nor did he expect that in such a favorable time and place, killing a peak powerhouse ranked more than 500 would be so unlucky to meet God Emperor Mo Long. The feeling that the Blood Jade Palace gave him was unshakable. If Divine Emperor Mo Long was sitting in the Blood Jade Palace and fleeing, the Great Formation could not stop him, and his thoughts and the universe would not be able to stop him. It's just a little bit. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank to the extreme. After working for most of the day, he couldn't find anything. Now he still has to watch Mo Long sit in the Blood Jade Palace and escape. This made Jian Wushuang difficult to accept. Even if his mood was strong, he could see everything, but he still sighed in his heart. After all, Hua Qing's performance was calm. His strength improved quickly, and he already had the strength of the peak Dayan immortal. This time the plan failed, and he could use his strength to kill the other 9 ranks outside to gain a record. Although he has become the rank 9 Dayan immortal now, he can only get 10 times the points, but his strength is better, and he can slaughter a group of 9 ranks perfect Dayan immortal. He has the hope to enter the top 100, after all, he just beheaded. With Luo Hao, he has achieved a large record and has entered the top 1000. Brother Wushuang, irreversible. Hu Qing has a Zen machine, and has some calculations about the development of the situation. The power of the Blood Jade Palace, the two of them are difficult to shake. If they are attacked, they are likely to be backfired. Jian Wushuang was floating in the air, and the 9 long swords were recalled to his side. He didn't speak, but just nodded. The immeasurable array was riddled with holes, and this trick was useless. If Mo Long could really escape, the two of them would have to find another way out. Although it was in the depths of the mountains, such a big movement might have been transmitted to the main continent by those weak rank 9 Dayan immortals. Since the great Luojie left Luo Hao in the mountains, then other forces will inevitably have eyeliners buried deep in the mountains. Observe the movement here. After all, the mountains occupy 90% of the original star's boundary. Why, don't you dare to move me? Mo Long sneered as he sat on the throne. If Jian Wushuang and the others don't attack the Blood Jade Palace, Missouri Long really can't help them. Mo Long's strength simply cannot control the Blood Jade Palace. If he wants the Blood Jade Palace to actively suppress his opponents, he can only let them attack the Blood Jade Palace first. As the pinnacle of innate treasure, the Blood Jade Palace has a self-protection effect. As long as there is a strong attack nearby, a blood shield will automatically rise, which can not only defend the Blood Jade Palace itself, but also issue a blood pillar to kill the Blood Jade Palace. Strong enemy. However, once the power of the Scarlet Crystal Column is exhausted, the blood shield will dissipate. Nothing to say. Mo Long controlled the Blood Jade Palace, constantly rising. The immeasurable array was trembling and scattered by the pillar of blood. Hu Qing presided over the big formation and tried to hold the Blood Jade Palace for a while. This is a superpower ranked in the top 500. If you let him run at this time, you will lose a lot. If you can drag it, you still have to drag it for a while. Although he had killed Luo Hao and entered the top 1000, it would be too difficult to think that it would be so easy to kill a strong one in the first 1000 in the future. With a move in my mind, the information of the identity token came into my mind. Trial, Hu Qing Realm, 9 turns Dayan Immortal Record, 10. 4 million rank, 716. This ranking is not stable in the top 1000, let alone in the top 100. He beheaded a Nineth rank perfect Dayan Immortal with a record of 100,000, plus Luo Hao's accumulated record of millions. After 10 times, he had a record of tens of millions. There was also a small part that was divided by Mo Long and Jian Wushuang. The two of them also counted as assists, and obtained corresponding records based on their own damage ratio. Chapter 5185. The enchantment of the Great Formation began to shatter continuously, sliding down from the sky. Once they lose the blessing and suppression of the big formation, Jian Wushuang and the others will no longer have any chance of winning. Not reconciled. Jian Wushuang stood tall in the sky, and could only watch the Blood Jade Palace. After fighting for such a long time, he has only achieved a record of several 100,000. Luo Hao's death has almost nothing to do with him. It is because of the doubling of the rank that he can obtain so many records. If it is a normal match of the same tier, you will get a few thousand records. Now he has not even reached the top 3,000 rankings, let alone 1,000 ahead. Hu Qing, is there no way at all? Hu Qing shook her head. The formation is about to break, we must leave here. As soon as his voice fell, the enchantment of the large formation had completely collapsed, and the eyes of the immeasurable large array were automatically decomposed. Under strong pressure, the big array could not operate and collapsed automatically. Jian Wushuang. There was murderous intent in God Emperor Mo Long's eyes. Now that the big formation has collapsed, he can completely fight again, but now he is a little scared. Even if there is no big formation, he does not dare to go out again. Up. There are so many treasures, you can really do whatever you want. Jian Wushuang's face was pale, and he wanted to refute but couldn't find a reason. Now no matter how much he said, God Emperor Mo Long would leave completely, and he himself was busy for nothing. Hu Qing, who killed Luo Hao, is at least now in the top 1000. As long as she goes out and kills some 9-turn consummation, it will not be a problem to secure the top 1000 throne within 30 years. As for the top 100, It is not impossible. But he was really miserable, his strength was not as good as he could be, and he could only be comparable to the peak Dian immortal with a single thought of the universe. In the past 30 years, he could not relax at all to squeeze into the top 1000. The one who was ranked in the top 1000, the Master of the Years, is also at the bottom. He can still make a lot of achievements in the early stage of the melee. The more successful the later 9 ranks, the more difficult it will be to kill. If he wants to keep the top 1000, it will be very difficult. In order to set up the formation, Zhen Wushuang lost the most precious early melee, and now it is too difficult to surpass the many powerhouses in front. The Blood Jade Palace continued to rise, although Zhen Wushuang couldn't stop him, although he couldn't get out of the universe for the time being, so he could only watch it. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Zhen Wushuang's green face, laughed wildly, and then drove the Blood Jade Palace and left directly. Let's go too. Zhen Wushuang sighed, just about to put away a thought of the universe, but was stopped by Hua Qing. Brother Wushuang, there is a turnaround, boom. The Blood Jade Palace, which was already close to the edge of Yinian universe, was suddenly smashed out of millions of miles by a force of destruction. The God Emperor Morlong, who had just left, slipped past Zhen Wushuang and Hui Qing's eyes in an instant. At the same time, in Yinyan universe, 3 more peak powers appeared. It was the 3 emperors of the Deluo world. Damn it, what kind of treasure is this? It's actually backlashing my origin avenue. The chief emperor of the Deluo world condensed his brows. When they first appeared, they happened to see Mo Long, who was driving the Blood Jade Palace and wanted to escape. Naturally, they refused to let it go. After 1,000,000 miles away, the chief of the Great Luo realm burst out of his hand with a ruining spear. On the blood shield of the Blood Jade Palace. Although he stopped the Blood Jade Palace, he was also affected by the Scarlet Power, and the mist began to invade his origin avenue through cause and effect. Miluo, what's going on? The 2 emperors next to them found that something was wrong and asked quickly. The 2 of them didn't know the strangeness of the Blood Jade Palace, but they were very jealous of Yinyan universe. Be careful of Mo Long, don't do it at will. The chief emperor Miluo endured the pain, and the 3 of them flickered before they came to Zhen Wushuang and Hua Qing. Zhen Wushuang was overjoyed when he saw the person who came. The leader of the Deluo world, Miluo, is the peak Dian powerhouse. He had met this strong man when he was in Kaishui Palace, and the emperor of the Deluo realm was also very powerful, second only to the Tongtian Buddha in order. At that time, he began to pay attention to the emperors of the Deluo realm. And Miluo is one of the best, and he is even more famous as the chief emperor when the emperor sits down, and his strength is also extremely powerful, and he is a strong man second only to the limit Dian immortal. The contemporary emperors are very young. It is the Dianxian who has the hope to advance to the emperor to be registered as the emperor. Like those Dianxian who have practiced countless chaos era, they are not qualified to be registered as the emperor. Because their potential has long been used up, even with the strength of the ultimate Dian immortal, it is difficult to succeed in harmony. These emperors are different. They practiced for a short time and are extremely talented. Like these emperors in the Deluo realm, they have not practiced for more than 100 million years. In the eyes of the emperors, they are not yet adult. At this age, this kind of strength has the hope of becoming an emperor in the future. So their status is higher than those of extreme Dian immortals. After all, they will be the Dian immortals of Hope Emperor in the future. But this time, because of the opening of the Chishan Temple, those limit Dian immortals who have no hope for Hadao are paid more attention again. It is said that those old guys are the protagonists this time, they are the emperors. On the contrary, it has not been taken seriously. However, the chief emperor Miluo of the Deluo realm was an accident. He has cultivated for 70 million years and he has the strength comparable to the ultimate Dian immortal. The emperors also value him very much. In order to enhance his life preservation, he also bestows the innate treasure, armor, and origin stars. The 2 great treasures, one to protect the divine body, and the other to guard the origin. He himself is a master of the origin, who has mastered the path of destruction, and the attack above has long been comparable to the limit Dian. Hui Qing, be careful of that Miluo, his strength is not weaker than divine Emperor Mo Long. Jian Wushuang calmly surfaced, secretly transmitting to Hui Qing. If it is one person, the two of them are not afraid, but now they are the three peak powers. Among them Miluo is no less than the Emperor Morlong. Losing the blessing of the big formation, the strength of the two of them has dropped a lot, and they have lost the means to suppress each other, and it is even worse at this time. Now I ask you to answer honestly, do you hear me clearly? Miluo suppressed the mist in his mind, and raised his head to look at Jian Wushuang. Before Jian Wushuang spoke to answer, the Blood Jade Palace flew out of the ruins of the canyon, and a powerful and domineering voice echoed everywhere. Miluo kid, you really dare to come. God Emperor Mo Long was itchy teeth now. Luo Hao used to seduce Miluo, but now he has succeeded in seduce, but he hasn't calculated that Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing actually forced him to use the Blood Jade Palace. It is too late for people to arrive now, and if these people can arrive before Luo Hao's fall, he is confident to keep them. Mo Long, last time I spared you, I dare to be rampant. Miluo snorted coldly. The last time he attacked Mo Long, thinking about catching a large sum, he failed to kill Mo Long. He was in that battle. It almost fell. Chapter 5186. The enemy was extremely jealous when they met, and Jian Wushuang began to calculate the situation on the field. As long as the fighting didn't stop, he could profit from it. It's really time for these three to come, but it's not that easy if you want to gain some advantage from the melee among the four top players. Wealth and wealth are in danger, and life and death are the first to let go. Wealth and wealth are the avenue. Jian Wushuang said cautiously, dear fellow Taoists, I didn't want to fight until I was hiding here. Oh, then you can tell the truth about what you saw. Miluo also saw that Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing were about the same in strength, so it shouldn't be a worry. Divine Emperor Mo Long frowned. Although he was not familiar with Jian Wushuang, he could see that the other party was thinking deeply from the contact he had just received. Our two brothers, as soon as we entered this gorge, we saw that God Morlong was fighting Luo Hao. Both of us were weak. We could only cooperate with Brother Luo Hao to fight against God Emperor Morlong. Unfortunately, we were still defeated in the end. Brother Luo Hao also fell. Jian Wushuang said very sincerely, and his voice also revealed his hatred for God Emperor Morlong. Shunshan Miluo nodded and said calmly, it's almost as I expected. He actually didn't care about this, he just wanted to figure out why. Let's do it. I'll solve them two first. You go and stop Mo Long. Miluo's figure suddenly violent, said to do it and then do it. A towering spear pierced the sky, and the destructive power contained in the spear head filled the entire canyon. The sword intent behind Jian Wushuang also rose, and he knew that this group of people were not so easy to flicker, and the 9 phantom swords also exploded, and went straight to the Emperor Miluo. The phantom sword test was finally created by the 6th level of the heart sword test based on the ultimate way, which leaked the heart power in the heart sword and evolved into a phantom, casting the strongest sword intent today, the phantom sword test. Call out! Call out! Call out! Jian Wushuang retreated, but the 9 phantom swords galloped away in the opposite direction. Help me hold him! Jian Wushuang shouted. The power of that long spear is too powerful, as long as he gets a trace of it, he may fall on the spot. Fortunately, this is the universe of one mind. His speed is fast enough, with a range of tens of thousands of miles, and any one of his shuttles, he can already be comparable to the limit of Dian Immortal. After speeding up, after barely avoiding the shot, he made a cold sweat on his back. The grind between life and death made Jidao stronger again. The power of thought in my mind rises, and the universe expands again. 11 million miles. 12 million miles. 15 million miles. It's the limit. Jian Wushuang's force of forbearance brought him a sense of oppression, and he ran the phantom sword to stop the Emperor Miluo as much as possible. Hui Qing had arrived at this time, her brows were slightly lowered, but the long stick outrageously exploded with great power. Without the blessing of the big formation, Hui Qing's strength can only be maintained at the peak level. Meeting Miluo, who is comparable to the extreme Dian Immortal, can't take advantage of it, and even threatens to fall. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang manipulates the phantom sword from a distance. Hu Qing breathed a sigh of relief by continuously attacking Miluo and distracting him. The fighting of the three can be said to perfectly replicate the style of besieging Mo long before, but at that time they had a large formation to gain the upper hand, and now the large formation is ruined. The two of them can only resist the Emperor Miluo, who is comparable to the extreme Dian Immortal. Did not threaten the Emperor Miluo at all. On another battlefield in the distance, two emperors of the Da Luo realm, who were several times stronger than Luo Hao, were surrounding the Bloodjade Palace, but they didn't know how to stop them. Suppress him, don't do it yourself. Miluo, who couldn't get away for a while, spoke to the two at this time. The strength of Jian Wushuang and Hu Qing combined with the degree of cooperation shocked Miluo. It was obvious that neither of them were too strong, so why couldn't they defeat each other? Especially with this circular cosmic formation, the longer he stays in it, the more his heart palpitations become. It always feels not that simple. Cool. Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and appeared at the top of the universe. Under the fusion of the power of mind and the universe, his strength doubled, but it was too difficult to suppress Miluo. Without the blessing of the formation, he still had the general peak of Dian Immortal. It can be suppressed, but Emperor Miluo's strength is too strong, and he has reached the limit of Dian Immortal's level, and he can't suppress it at all. Unless Ji Dao and mental strength improve, he can suppress the Emperor Miluo. But Ji Dao has such a wide road, it means that it can be improved when it is promoted, and it is not something he can see in his mind. It is not a road that he can break through when he wants to break through. Now he can only hope to irrigate all his thought power into the universe of one mind, enhance the power of the universe of one mind, and suppress the Emperor Miluo. As for the other emperors of the Great Luo realm, although they can suppress the pinnacle Dian Immortal, the two are dealing with Mo Long at this time, and there is no need to deal with them. Even Jian Wushuang was ready to suppress Mo Long, so that he could still force Mo Long to fight. Once his strength was suppressed, the power of the Bloodjade Palace would also be reduced. There is still hope to stop the Bloodjade Palace even if he can't stop then. He is releasing water for Miluo to break the Bloodjade Palace. By then, the pressure of the six-man melee Jian Wushuang will not be enough. It will be so big. The power of thought in my mind kept filling the universe with a thought. This time the universe was not in its expanding range, but began to shrink instead. There is no way that Jian Wushuang is not strong enough now, and can only reduce the scope of the universe to 5 million miles. Although the scope is reduced, the power has been increased tenfold. Several other powerful men instantly noticed Jian Wushuang. God Emperor Morlong had seen Jian Wushuang's abilities, and immediately shouted, "Go and stop him, idiot." Before a few people in the Deluo world could react, Jian Wushuang shook his strength, evaporating the sweat on his body, and said weakly, "It's late." Boom. A wave of waves appeared on the universe barrier, which made the bodies of Miluo and Mo Long below tremble, and the whole people felt compressed. How is this possible? Miluo couldn't believe it. He felt that his strength was suppressed, and suppressed a lot, by at least 30%. Mo Long was very familiar with this feeling on his body. There was no surprise at this time, he just sighed. The other two emperors of the Great Luo realm did not feel uncomfortable at all, but they could also sense that the strength of Miluo and Mo Long had dropped a lot. This is a great thing for both of them. If the strength of the two powerhouses that are comparable to the limit declines, then it is equivalent to their strength skyrocketing, instantly comparable to the two, and they can compete fairly and justly. The emperor of the Deluo realm didn't accept anyone, and he also had the constraints of the emperor, so he could not attack his own person, otherwise Luo Hao would not say that before he fell. Everyone is fighting for themselves, these emperors get the corresponding benefits, and they will naturally be restrained. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.